Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different connections, not just to the prequels and the originals, but also to Star Wars Rebels by director and writer J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about this film that a lot of people are really getting very excited for is, of course, all the different connections to other forms of canon material like the animated TV series, the Clone Wars, and Rebels, as well as the movies like the ones from the prequels and the originals. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for the characters of Rey and Ezra Bridger, as well as a location called the Lost City and the Land of Warriors. Specifically, a description of Rey entering the Lost City within the Jedi section, where it's described that she comes across the Land of Warriors. It said that Rey travels through the Land of Warriors that leads to a location of artifacts and relics that were left behind by previous Jedi. The next goes over Rey discovering a journal that was left behind by Ezra Bridger, where it's described that within the journal lies many secrets of the beyond and the power that it holds. It's said to be a journal that was written by Ezra during his time in the unknown regions, and was placed within the Lost City after he escaped. It's described that this is JJ's way of tying in some of the Rebels' characters, as well as explaining their legacy. Lastly, it's said that within the journal it explains that the beyond is a place that is very dangerous and holds the origins of the dark side and the light, as well as new truths about the unknown regions. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that the unknown regions, the beyond, and even the origins of the dark side and the light, as well as the galaxy, will be explained in this film. And what's really interesting about this journal that Ezra Bridger left behind in the Lost City indicates that he escaped the unknown regions in between the events of course, the originals and the sequel trilogy. So in case you guys missed Star Wars Rebels Season 4, at the very end of that season, which by the way is the final season, we do see him jump to hyperspace with Grand Admiral Thrawn into the unknown regions, or at least that's where we believe he went. And now it makes all sense, and you can really see how all the dots are starting to connect. So the one thing that I really do like about J.J. Abrams is that when we look at J.J., we do know that they are trying to really connect all the different lore into one big movie in order to truly make it feel interconnected. And one thing I will bring up is this, is that when we think about the character of Rey and her travels to the Lost City, this is going to be a location of various pieces of Jedi and Sith lore that is not only going to connect to past films and of course Star Wars Rebels and even the Clone Wars Season 7, which is actually set to drop in 2020, but it's also a way to really give us a different view on both the Jedi and the Sith and exactly what happened thousands of years ago during the ancient times. And I think that this is a very smart and fascinating way by Disney and Lucasfilm in order to really bring in various pieces of lore in order to really make it feel as if it's all in one movie. So the one other aspect that I want to go over all of this is of course the Land of Warriors that leads to this location, which holds a lot of Jedi and Sith relics, which is of course where Rey eventually finds the journal that once belonged to Ezra Bridger, where he explains many different truths about the unknown regions during his time over there, as well as the origins of both the dark and the light, as well as the beyond. Now, we do know that there is going to be a lot of pieces to the puzzle in this movie that leads up to the evolving MacGuffin, also known as the plot device in the film, that is going to really evolve many of the different characters from start to finish of this movie. So with that being said, I'm not quite sure if you guys view Ezra Bridger having a presence in this film, especially his legacy being explained in this movie, as a good or a bad thing. Is this a good move by Disney and Lucasfilm? That's a huge question open on the table for discussion. Now, me personally, I think that using Ezra Bridger's legacy in the form of a journal is honestly probably one of the greatest things that you can do for the character in order to transfer him over into live action. We do know that there is this character codenamed EB that has a very striking similarity to that character from what was explained a couple of months ago, and that most likely is indeed going to be the older version of Ezra Bridger, very similar to what they did in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story with Saw Gerrera, where we had the younger version of that character in the Clone Wars, where we got the older version of him in live action form in Rogue One. So it's not out of line to do something like this, but I also know at the same exact time a lot of people are against Star Wars Rebels characters being implemented into a live action movie, but we'll have to wait and see and witness exactly how it sits well with fans and how all these different little Easter eggs and connections really fit into the movie and how well it's going to be explained and executed on the big screen. So we do know that other relics of Ezra Bridger will be used in the film, like his abandoned lightsaber, the staff that we went over a couple of weeks ago. You can really see what JJ is really trying to do here, and why he had a lot of discussions with Dave Filoni, who is the showrunner of Star Wars Rebels, the animated TV series. Anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding. From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No